Friends, hello and welcome on TechGuruSpeaks.com. Today I will be discussing about Java chained exception. This is the last topic of Java exception handling. After this I will be discussing Java multi-threaded programming. So let's discuss about Java chained exception. The chained exception in Java is a useful concept that allows us to associate a particular exception with another exception. Here the second exception describes the cause of the first exception. For example, let us consider a scenario in which a method throws a null pointer exception because of a failed attempt to initialize an object reference. However, the actual cause of the problem was that an IO exception has occurred, which caused the object reference to be initialized improperly, and as a result it becomes null. So that means because of the IO exception, the null pointer exception has occurred. So IO exception is the cause for which null pointer exception has occurred. So in that way they are basically somewhat related, and they will form a chain or layers of exceptions. So from that idea, the concept of chained exceptions have been thought of. So by using this concept, we might also want to let the calling code know that the underlying cause was the IO exception for which null pointer exception has occurred. And the chained exception, let us handle this and any other situation in which layers of exception, that means chains of exceptions, may exist. Now to allow chained exceptions, Java added two constructors of the throwable class and two methods to the same class, that is throwable. First I'll be discussing about the throwable class constructors. First one is having a single parameter, that is throwable cause exception. So it is the exception, I mean to say the cause exception is the exception that causes the current exception. Or to be more specific, cause exception is the underlying reason that an exception has occurred. Now the second form, it is using the same parameter like throwable cause exception, but it is coupled with another parameter, that is the string message. So the second form allows us to specify a description at the same time that we specify a cause exception. These two constructors have also been added to the java.lang.error, java.lang.exception, and java.lang.runtime exception, because runtime exception, exception and error, all these are descendants of throwable class, and throwable is at the top of the exception class hierarchy. So now I'll be discussing about the chained exception related methods which are added to the throwable class, like the get cause and the init cause method. The get cause method is having the return type as the throwable object, and it is saying that this kind of method returns the exception that underlines the current exception. I mean to say the get cause method returns the exception that underlines the current exception. If there is no underlying exception, null is returned. And the second one, that is the init cause method, associates cause exception, that means throwable cause exception, with the invoking exception and returns a reference to the exception. Thus we can associate a cause with an exception after the exception has been created. However, the cause exception can be set only once. Thus we call init cause only once for each exception of object being generated. Furthermore, if the cause exception was set by a constructor, then we cannot set it again using the init cause method. In general, the init cause is used to set a cause for legacy exception classes which don't support the two additional constructors described earlier. At the time of this writing, most of the Java's built-in exceptions such as null pointer exception do not define the additional constructors. Thus we will use the init cause if we need to add an exception chain to these exceptions. When creating our own exception classes, we will want to add the two chained exception constructors if we will be using our exceptions in situations in which layered exceptions are possible. So now I will demonstrate this concept by using a coding example, and that will be done by using the NetBeans IDE, which is one of the most popular IDEs for Java programming. So let's move to the NetBeans IDE for coding demonstration. Here is a program named except10.java that demonstrates the mechanism of handle, that means the mechanism of how to handle these chained exceptions. In other words, this program will illustrate the mechanism of handling chained exceptions. Now we are having a static method named test. So within the context of main method, which is the entry point of program execution, the test method has been called. Now within the scope of test method, a null pointer exception has been, I mean to say, null pointer exception object has been created with a string message that is top level. So it is the exception to be generated. Now we are adding a cause to this exception by using the init cause method. Like, it is the exception object, I mean to say the null pointer exception object. Using the second overloaded version of the throwable class constructor, I have generated it. Now I have added a cause here, like using the init cause method, and within which I have added the cause exception, like new IO exception within double quotation mark cause. That is the again the second overloaded version of the throwable class constructor. So by using the init cause method, I am adding an exception, that is a cause exception, to be added to the current exception being generated, and then I have thrown this exception explicitly by using the throw keyword. So now there is no try catch, and since it is unchecked exception, it doesn't require the throws clause to be included here, I mean to say in the method signature. So it will be now looking for the exception handler in its immediate caller, that is the main method, and it is found here. So there is no problem. So here, if I am trying to run the program, I can see that this particular method basically has generated this particular exception object and added a cause exception as well. Like, for the presence of IO exception, the null pointer exception has occurred. So that is the thing. So if I am trying to print this one, that is the exception object being generated, that will be printing this one, that is a null pointer exception being generated. Now if I am to know for which particular exception the null pointer exception has occurred, that may be known by calling the getCause method. So if I am using the getCause method here and associating this with the exception object being generated, it will be showing the reason for which the null pointer exception has occurred. So that is why I will be getting the result here by calling the getCause method, and it will be showing you java.io.io exception cause, because I have added a cause here, that is a sample string message. So in that way I will be knowing about if a particular exception has occurred, what is the reason and what is the exception for which the current exception has been generated. So here the top level exception is displayed, that is the null pointer exception, which is obtained by the string representation of the object, that is E, followed by the underlying exception, that is the cause exception, that means by calling the getCause method. Now chained exception can be carried on to whatever depth is necessary. Thus the cause exception can itself have a cause. Be aware that if we have a long chains of exception, that may indicate poor design. So care must be taken to write some kind of design procedure for before writing the actual code. Chained exceptions are not something that every program will need. However, in cases in which knowledge of the underlying cause is useful, they offer an elegant solution. So in that sense, chained exception is somewhat carrying useful information to know about the cause exception. So I hope that you have understood the concept behind this program. That means the idea of using the layers of exception, like a particular exception has occurred because of a particular exception, like here null pointer exception has occurred because of the IO exception, and it has been added here by using the init cause method. Then I have say explicitly thrown it by using the throw keyword. Then I must handle it by using the try catch block in the main method. So here by using this line, it will be trying to print the string representation of the current object, that is null pointer exception. It is the top level exception, and it has occurred because of the IO exception, and it will be known by calling the get cause method. So that is the logic behind this program. I will also hope that you have thoroughly watched this video, and in near future you will be able to apply this concept in your Java project development. So if you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here comes the URL of my YouTube channel, and please visit my website techguruspeaks.com, and this is my official email ID, admin@techguruspeaks.com. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.